This is exactly the attitude you want from your head football coach. 2025 means nothing because the 2026 Miami Hurricanes haven't won.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, and on this loaded episode of Locked On Canes, we have to talk about the athletic director search. How much do the cries of the fan base actually matter? Because I think the fan base wants Jim Frivola. I'm not sure if that's who Joe Echeverria wants, but I don't know. But there seem to be three top candidates, at least the candidates we know about, as a national search is going on. Who's going to be the next AD at the U? We'll talk about a big stretch coming up in recruiting because you have multiple big-time defensive linemen that are about to come off the board. And, yeah, your top offensive tackle targets are going to be coming off the board very, very soon. Matthews, Olu, neither. Let's talk about what happens there. But before we talk about Mario Cristobal, let's bring on, as it is Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
It's a Truth Teller Tuesday with Bruce Warner. And, Bruce, I love the way Mario Cristobal handled his interview with Brett McMurphy of On3 because McMurphy is like basically teeing him up to talk about, after all that Miami did last year, they're no longer the hunter, they're the hunted, in his words. Mario Cristobal was not taking the bait. He's saying 2025 means nothing. This 2026 team has not done expletive.
Well, go ahead. You can say the word.
No, I can't.
You're Alex Donno. No one's going to fire you. You can say that word.
I'm trying to keep my clean rating. Bruce, it's a family show.
All right, so say poop. We haven't done
one poop.
Okay, that is true, and that's he's got to say that. Listen, he's dealt with the media for a long time. Yeah, he's right. We haven't done anything. It's a new defense for the most part. The offense looks so incredibly loaded. Everybody's predicting. I talked to Bluestein about an hour ago. He thinks we're going to score 40 points a game. I said that a month ago. I don't know how we could score less than 40. It's 6 touchdowns or maybe 5 touchdowns and 2 field goals. We should be able to score that every single game, including the No, I don't know about the Notre Dame game. Just win that game. I don't
just
care.
Win. I don't care if it's 10-7 the final score. Just win that game.
Yep. But look, it's exciting. We're in May. We're getting closer. Not there yet, but it's exciting to see. And the recruiting is really big.
Here's what Mario said to Brett McMurphy, because McMurphy was like, "Hey, basically after what you guys did last year, and you're 5-0 against the SEC the last couple of years, are you the hunted now rather than the hunter?" And Mario Cristobal said, "You know what? We haven't done bleep. The 2026 Miami Hurricanes haven't won bleep. We haven't done a thing." Cristobal continued, "I believe in a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you start thinking like being the hunted, you will start acting and playing like that. If my dad ever heard me talking like that, he would rise from the grave and beat the living you-know-what out of me. Oh, we have a target on our back? That ain't ever going to be the mindset." And here's why, Bruce, and I know some people would say, hey, this is just coach speak. Not every coach speaks this way. Now, in the case of Mario Cristobal, I think he learned a lot, not only from coaches he played for, like Jimmy Johnson, but I think he also learned a lot from Nick Saban, who he worked for many years at Alabama. He has that sort of attitude where it's always back to work. It's always 1-0 every week. But it's like if anyone says, oh, Cristobal said what any other coach would say. So, Bruce, I remember little less than a year ago at this time, heading into this past year, 2025. You remember where Clemson was supposed to be a national contender. They're going to win the ACC easily. They're going to play in the championship game. And there was actually an interview that Dabo Swinney did before the season where Dabo said, hey, like we're looking to be the first 16-0 undefeated national champion ever. He said, Dabo Swinney said that before the season. They win 7 games last year. You go a couple years back when Florida State was coming off of that 2023 season where they went, 13-0 and then 13-1 because they got hammered in the bowl game. And I will even say, I think Florida State deserved to be in the playoff that year. I thought they got screwed. They didn't get in. But how did they respond to that? They threw a pity party. They made themselves championship rings for an unconquered season where they went 13-1.
Championship for the national title rings or like the ACC title? What is it?
They just made themselves rings for having a really cool season, which I think is it's the worst thing you can do. They made themselves unconquered 13-0 rings that year. And so my point, Bruce, is when you come into any season with a sense of entitlement, that is a virus in sports, especially a violent, unforgiving game like football. And I really appreciate the fact that Mario Cristobal, and to be fair, Miami, they did win a couple of big bowl games, but Miami didn't win any championship last year. You didn't win the Natty. You didn't even win the ACC. So he's right, not only that the 2026 team hasn't done bleep, but even the 2025 team, Bruce, they came out of that year with unfinished business. So I appreciate Mario's attitude, and players take the cues from their head coach. Do you want your head coach to be making championship rings after not winning a championship? Do you want your head coach to talk about going 16-0 before the season starts? No. You want your head coach making his players realize we haven't done anything and we have everything to prove. We are always hunters, not hunted.
Well, that's a great point. Knowing Mario the way I do, that's clearly what he's doing. Like I said, I was down there. I watched him practice. I've seen practices before, and it seems like, they would blow the whistle, go on to the next event or whatever training skill they were working on. This time the whistle blew and they were just running. And within like 30 seconds, if not less, they're on to the next drill. It is, and I use the word violent, and I'll keep saying it was violent. I watched Jackson Cantwell throw Jaden Wilkerson around like a rag doll, and that guy's like 340 pounds. It's violent down there. He's got the mentality that we haven't done a darn thing. I agree with that. He's got some new players that are hungry. The guys that got a taste of it are hungry. And I just think that you have to have that mentality. You mentioned Nick Saban. I watched this guy. Look, first of all, to me, he was like the ultimate. Whatever happened yesterday is over and done with. It seemed to me like the day after they won a title, he'd be screaming and yelling about something. And you have
Bruce,
to have
not even the day after, when he was getting interviewed after winning one of his championships, he didn't enjoy. He was like, I'm back on the recruiting trail tomorrow. He wouldn't even give himself 5 minutes to enjoy a championship.
I don't know how healthy that is.
Yeah.
But I think Mario's got his hands on this whole program. He knows exactly what he's doing. And yeah, those practices are tough, and everybody's still fighting for a job. A lot of times you win titles, you come back or you almost win the title. We got a lot of the guys coming back, and it's just, let's just play harder to get where we have to go. But it's almost like nothing happened last year. It's like it never happened. It's like they didn't even make the playoffs. That's what he's trying to address with these kids and buying into it because they have a lot of competition, a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to really pick the truth teller's brain when we come back because we're entering a massive recruiting stretch where, as many of at least 4 big-time Miami targets on the line of scrimmage could be coming off the board within the next week and a half or so, Bruce, when we talk about Ayangbile and Folorunsho on the defensive line, Mark Matthews and Olu on the offensive line. We're still wondering if Miami's going to be able to flip DJ Jacobs at some point. We got a lot to talk about, and we're going to get the pulse of Bruce Warner and the Miami fans. You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Workplace chaos, your deadlines just keep stacking up, your inbox is overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need to get the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support Locked On Canes by saying you heard about Indeed on this show. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. If you're an everydayer, you want to join the Everydayer Club. When you hit that all-access tier of the Locked On Canes Everydayer Club, you're getting exclusive episodes, newsletters, one-on-one texting with me, and so many great features. Go to lockedoncanes.supercast.com to join the Everydayer Club all-access tier today. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen on this fine Truth Teller Tuesday. All right, so Bruce, we have on Friday Ezekiel Ayangbile, four-star defensive lineman who Miami seems to be trending pretty well for out of Houston. He's going to be coming off the board on Friday. The following Friday, David Folorunsho, a five-star defensive lineman out of Chicago who Miami's competing with Notre Dame and Texas Tech for, is coming off the board. And then at some point, it feels like it could happen anytime with Mark Matthews and Olu, the five-star offensive lineman. And it seems like wherever Matthews goes, Olu is probably going to commit somewhere else shortly after. So how are you feel? How's the Bruce Warner big board looking for these next couple weeks?
I think the kid on Friday is going to pick Miami. I'm not sure about the other defensive linemen, maybe Notre Dame. I don't know, Texas Tech. They don't have a quarterback anymore, right?
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be there till the year after anyway.
Yeah, but they're not going to be good this year, so who knows what he's going to do. Maybe Notre Dame. He's a Chicago kid.
Yeah.
I would say that if I had to pick one. The offensive lineman, I don't think Matthews is coming here. The fact that he went and visited Mississippi is not such a great sign for us. Come on. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. And, have I heard anything? I heard something that maybe, and this might not be true, just throwing it out there, that they spent a lot of money on Mensa, and they may or may not have the money to compete for Matthews with Texas A&M, who's got a ton of money.
Oh, yeah, and they got unlimited oil money there.
Right.
That well is not drying up.
Would it shock me if him and Olu wound up there? No, not really. I don't know Olu's mental state. It seems like Matthews wants to just start at left tackle and be done with it. So they probably told him, yes, don't worry about it. I'm sure Miami told this kid, hey, you're going to play either guard or maybe right tackle. I don't know. Probably not, because we got somebody over there that's been here before in McCoy. So I think Olu has I'd say 65-35 Miami. Yeah. I don't think Matthews is coming here. And I think we're going to get one of those D linemen, but not both of them. Yeah. And as I mentioned before to you off the air, there's a kid out of Newark that my buddy Mark Caesar's friends with, Nasir Richardson, who's a five-star cornerback from Malcolm X Shabazz, again in my hometown of Newark, who got an offer, and now he's just sitting there waiting. He's going to accept it. But I'm not sure what's going on. He wants to come down, and I'm not sure if they want him. So,
but he's a 2028 though, so like the urgency hasn't ramped up yet. Yeah,
right. But he'll probably be here for like the legacy camp or something, and he'll probably commit because he wants to play at Miami. But he's a legitimate five-star. He's really good.
Yeah, he's the top. He's the top corner in next year's class, and the top player out of all of New Jersey.
Right. So, again, I'm not speaking for Mario or the staff, but you have a kid from that area that you want. Getting New Jersey kids is a big deal. So I think if he decides when he's here in June, he wants to commit, let him commit. Don't hold him off, because he's a five-star DB. Yeah. We have a lot of four-stars, but five-star DBs.
Yeah.
And he's really, 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 really – and according to Mark, there's a sophomore wide receiver at the same school that's spectacular. Ooh. And he's interested in Miami. But again, that's a 2028, another 2028.
20, yeah.
Or maybe even 29 or something 29. Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great players up there. Caesar came from there. Al-Qaeda Muhammad came from there. So there's enough guys up there that we should be able to pull in. I hope we get Olu though.
Yeah, I mean that's another Jersey kid. That's the one I want right now, Olu.
You're Olu. I want him. Yeah. If we get it, listen, I don't care if Matthews goes to A&M if we get him. But if he doesn't come here and we don't get Matthews either, I'm not as concerned. I keep hearing wonderful, great things about Cogden. If Ben Cogden is as good as they say he is, and I hear he's just an animal, hey, we have enough O linemen. If we don't get either one of these guys, I'm not going to cry. But you still want to keep replenishing every single year.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure you got guys lined up to step in. You don't have enough.
Well, and to your point, it's like, recruits themselves, they look at the landscape of the roster that they're stepping into. And like, if you're Mark Matthews, where it really sounds like, he wants to play offensive tackle. Like, I know he's played a lot of right tackle in high school. So maybe he's not married to the idea of playing left tackle, but it's like, you can't expect him to beat out Jackson Cantwell at left tackle. I mean, Cantwell is generational. Like, Mark Matthews is really good, but Jackson Cantwell is like a generational player. And then even on the right side, you talk about Congdon. They're really high on Joel Irvin, who could be another guy who competes at that position. So it's like, obviously maybe if you're Matthews, you feel confident you can beat one of those guys out, and maybe you should be that confident. But you look at how stacked Miami is, and then maybe your best path to playing time immediately at Miami would be playing guard, and maybe he doesn't want to play guard. Like, I've heard rumblings of that not everybody wants to move around positions. So you have that, and that could be part of Olu's decision-making as well. Like, Olu may look at what Miami has at right and left tackle compared to the other teams he's looking at. Like, I do think we have, like you said, probably a better chance today at Olu than we have at Mark Matthews. But it's like one of the symptoms of when you have a really crowded, young offensive line room, you can't expect to land everybody every single year. I hope we can, though.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm trying to figure this out because it's A&M. And you mentioned before they have tons of oil money. So let's say Olu says, you know what? I can go to Miami. And obviously I'm not going to start my first year or two probably, but I'm going to wind up being a tackle on one side or the other. And then you got A&M who's offering probably more money. Let's assume that. I might be wrong. And I don't want to start with Mario, but let's assume. But I'm going to have to play guard for a year or two, or maybe my whole career. I don't know. So what do? Money's money. The kid, I don't know what his family history is. I know isn't he from Nigeria?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And if they're offering him more money than Miami's offering, but he can't play where he wants to play, but he'll play, that's a tough decision to make for a kid like that. So you don't know, and I don't know what the money is, and I'm not going to speculate on the money.
Well, and to be fair, I have heard, I know we're talking about Olu right now, but like on Matthews, I have heard that it's not a money thing, that it's just about where he wants to play. So I want to throw. I mean, obviously, he's getting big money offers from everybody. Like, he's not going to be hard up for cash, but I've heard his decision does not come down to money.
Well, I don't know if I buy that. I think to a certain extent, it has to. You're not going to go to A&M for less money than Miami, I don't think. But again, it's how much is enough? How much are they offering him? I don't know.
But by the way, can I bring up, going back to the defensive line? I want both of these guys who are picking within the next couple weeks. Ayangbile is really good, who's coming off the board this week. Miami does seem to be the trending favorite there for what that's worth. And then the following week, this David Folorunsho, 5-star from Chicago.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I hear good feedback about where Miami stands, but Bruce, there's a little bit of a conspiracy. I don't know if you're aware of this. So over the weekend, college football reporter, recruiting guy, national guy, Tom Lemming, who is in Chicago, and I think he's pretty close to the Notre Dame program. Tom Lemming put out a tweet that he deleted it. Like, I guess he realized, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have, I don't know if he meant to put it in his drafts or something. He put out a tweet where he was talking about Notre Dame landing David Folorunsho like it already happened. So it's and this was 2 weeks before Folorunsho's decision. So people are wondering oh, well, what does he know? Did he does he already know Folorunsho's committing, or maybe did he write a tweet like that for all the different teams and he has them in his drafts just in case? So it's I don't know if Tom Lemming may have spoiled Folorunsho's announcement for Notre Dame, but I also say, Bruce, this happened 2 weeks before the announcement. In big time recruiting, Like, you don't usually know 2 weeks in advance for sure where a
No,
kid is going to
but
go.
London's a popular guy, and everybody knows
Yeah.
who he is. And you know what? Maybe he's
Yeah.
right. It could be right. He might be right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he heard something from somebody that has some inside connection with the kid. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes to Notre Dame. It would not.
It wouldn't.
I hope it's not money. I would like to think that if he comes here, what is he? Is he an end or a tackle?
He's a tackle.
Okay, well, we need more tackles. We need more tackles.
You always need tackles.
He's somebody that I would pay extra money for.
Yeah.
But again, don't know. I hope it's not a money issue.
Yeah.
The coaching staff here between D-Lou and Jason is ridiculous. These guys that came here, they're really getting better. They're tenacious. Notre Dame's defense is good, but I don't know how many studs they have. Miami's just throwing up studs left and right. And you know what? If we beat them this year, but this kid's going to make decisions. It's not binding. It's not binding until December anyhow.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's not. Not until and even then it's like now they don't have national letters of intent anymore. Like you just sign like your financial aid paperwork. But yeah, in December is when it's basically official.
Right.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you, and I was looking through, shout out to my guy, Gabby Urrutia at InsideTheU.com. He put out his most recent mock class of 2027. Now, he did note that this is what a smaller class would look like.
Yes.
So, which is, I guess, notable. And Miami doesn't have that many spots this year. And if they want to keep the class smaller, so maybe this is not his 100% mock class, but in his small mock class, he actually didn't have Miami landing either of the 5-star tackles. No Matthews, no Olu. But he did have Miami, I believe, landing Folorunsho. And he also had Miami flipping DJ Jacobs from Ohio State.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, Bruce, if you could only have one of these 5-star players, you have to pick one. Would you rather have the defensive end, DJ Jacobs? Would you rather have the 5-star defensive tackle, Folorunsho? Or would you rather have 5-star offensive lineman, Olu? I'm going to assume Matthews doesn't come here. Pick out of those three, the 5-star O-lineman, the 5-star end, or the 5-star tackle.
Well, in addressing Olu, I think we have enough dinosaurs on the offensive line from my Jurassic Park thing that I said. And
let me see if I can pull that up.
Something, right?
Yes, someone made me a Jurassic Park. Keep talking. I'll find it here in a second.
Yeah, so he would be the least of my concerns if we don't get him. I would say Jacobs because he's supposed to be a real. Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that great?
Jurassic Park, yeah.
Shout out to William Marsh for saying that to me on
Great
X.
job, buddy. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Look, I don't know if Mario is going to call it Jurassic Park, but I am because those guys.
Oh no, Mario's called it Jurassic Park.
He has.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I thought I made that up.
I think he might have gotten that from the Truth Teller.
Listen, I did make it up. I did not discuss it with you or any. I told you off the air.
You didn't.
That's what I said. And I said that after I went down. I kept on looking at these guys. I'm looking around I thought Leon was big. I thought Mark was big. Yeah. They were like babies compared to some of these dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So it's like comparing a Tyrannosaurus Rex who's big to a Brontosaurus who's massive. That's what we have, a bunch of Brontosauruses. Yeah. Anyway, I would take Jacobs because he's supposed to be just a beast.
Yeah.
We have some D tackles. We need more D tackles, but I would take Jacobs. I think he's the
I would take Jacobs as well. And also the idea of flipping him away from Ohio State would make that extra sweet.
Yeah. But you know what? You asked me that question, and my real answer is I don't want one. I want at least two.
Sure.
I'd like Jacobs and Olu. That would make me very happy.
Yeah.
But the other kid's good too. Those other guys, the D tackles are good.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk when we come back about the athletic director search. So there was smoke a couple weeks ago that kind of made it look like Yormark was for sure going to be the guy. He'd been offered the job. I think it turns out that report was premature. They really are conducting a national search, but the names we keep seeing are Michael Yormark, Jim Frivola, Jeff Purington. We'll talk about who the man should be. You want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen. For your next listen, make sure you check out Locked On ACC. Kenton Gibbs and I take you around the conference, all the big news, all the big stories. Locked On ACC, like this show, is available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. It's part of the #1 sports podcasting network, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, we're here with the truth teller, Bruce Warner. And like Bruce, I know Joe Echeverria, Miami's university president, he definitely cares what the community and what the fans think. Now, he's not going to pick his athletic director strictly based on that, nor should he, because the fans, we're not privy to their vetting process. We're not seeing what they're seeing with all these candidates. We're certainly not privy to the interviews that are being done with these candidates. So he can't, he's not going to pick a guy just strictly based on what the fans think. But I do think the popular opinion is important, and I think Joe sees what we say and he hears what we say. And listen, from where I sit, Bruce, I have obvious concerns about Michael Yormark, president of Rock Nation Sports right now, former president of the Florida Panthers, and it's so many stories about the way he treats his employees and coworkers. And listen, I understand that, sometimes when you're the boss, the buck stops here, and you've got to do what you have to. And he's a very effective salesman, right? And they're looking for someone to raise massive funds for all the expenses that come with college sports these days. So that's an area where Yormark can excel. But I would worry about Yormark having friction with other people in those front offices, and you certainly don't want friction with Mario Cristobal. You want someone who can work in harmony with Mario. Maybe Jeff Purington is that guy who's a high-ranking executive at Learfield, which cuts these big media deals with college football programs. He knew Mario. They worked together at Alabama. So maybe Mario and Purington have a great relationship. Bruce, I think you and me agree. Jim Frivola is the guy that we love. He's a Miami alum, class, I think, of 1992. Frivola has had great experience. He's had high positions with the Vegas Golden Knights. He helped establish that franchise. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Lightning. He's a former associate AD at Miami. This is an American guy kicking butt in the Premier League right now. Business side for AFC Bournemouth. He's doing a great job. And Frivola, everyone loves him. Everybody who's worked with Frivola loves him. So you don't have the Yormark baggage. And I don't know if he's as good of a salesman as Yormark, but he might be, because this guy has cut big business deals with American and even English franchises. So maybe he's up there as well.
Well, I would say that, look, I don't want to downplay any of this stuff or the stuff that Yarmouth has done, but you know what? If we keep going the way we're going, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to raise money for this football program the way they're going. They're just going straight up. So I think you have to have somebody who's an overall has a personality that's not going to rub people the wrong way. Now, I don't know the guy from Alabama that Mario knows, but if he feels he can do the job and he's comfortable with him, he may get it. But I would say that either him or Frivola is going to get it. I don't know about Yarmouth. I don't think they want to have any sort of negativity attached to the athletic director department. They
shouldn't. Yeah. Unless you're so sure that he's going to run laps around these other guys and raising money, then I don't think that's the move. But I would figure if he does end up being the move, it's because they are 100% confident he's going to be more effective in raising funds than the others. Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, the money is important. Let me ask you this. Do you know why Radakovich stepped down? Is there any truth that they weren't happy with what he was doing? Do you know of any? I don't want to start rumors, but you hear stuff.
Yeah, well, that was something that the Miami Herald reported, that Miami was open to this move happening. I mean, I think in the case of Radakovich, and again, I'm not speaking for anybody. This is just my opinion. Honestly, I'm not speaking for anybody. But if you read the tea leaves, it does sound like he was probably getting to the point where at some point he was ready to retire, and Miami was maybe opening to that happening maybe a little bit sooner, because I do think that, Radakovich, in my opinion, I thought he did a great job here, by the way. I'm not taking anything away from the job he did, but I do think he more represents the old format of athletic directors where you're more of an administrator than a fundraiser. And it's not to say he wasn't pretty good at raising funds, but I think now these sports are moving in the directions of this is a job now for a businessman, not for an administrator.
Right.
So
and especially
I think
now we're sitting there, we're sitting on a gold mine. Even if we don't win the title this year, this team is, as I've been saying, is back. They're back to national prominence. They're nationally relevant now. Can't say nobody cares. That's not true. Everybody cares, whether you hate us or you love us, which is good because that brand, that U, stands for something. And people either can't stand us or they love us, but at least they have an opinion. I keep saying this, who cares about the Gators? Nobody. I mean, Florida State used to be very relevant when Bowden was there, Jimbo, but they've gone down. And they're not relevant anymore. They're not even relevant in the ACC anymore. So Miami's sitting on a gold mine. And this is the chance to really ramp this up, get more money because they still need the facilities. They need a lot of things that have to happen. Who knows? Maybe they will build a stadium somewhere near the campus. I don't know. But I think this is I still think that it's going to be one of those two guys that we just talked about, Frivola, or what's the other guy's name?
Jeff Purington.
Purington, okay.
Yeah, who was mostly he's at Learfield right now. Before that, he was the AD at Arkansas State, and then he was like an assistant AD at Alabama for many years before that.
When Mario was there. So he knows the guy.
Mario was there.
Okay, well,
they know
each other well. Comfort. Mario likes that comfort.
Before we run, Bruce, let people know if custody battles, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can call me at 954-258-2525. It's 954-258-2525. Any child custody issues, you can't see your kid, you want more time than you have, 954-258-2525. Thank you.
We love the truth teller. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to have an awesome guest on, Jake Crane from the wildly popular Crane and Cone show on On3 Sports is going to join me. So Bruce, on the Crane and Cone show, they ranked Miami number 7 nationally in their post-spring football ranking. So I'm going to pick Jake's brain on why number 7 and his outlook for Miami this year. So that should be a really fun show.
Do you know who the top 6 are?
No, I know. Let me
Notre
see.
Dame, Ohio State, probably. Georgia, maybe.
Yeah, so the Crane and Cone top 25. You're pretty close. Just the order was a little off. So they got Ohio State. I wasn't going by the
order. I was going by the names. Yeah, Oregon.
Oh, okay. I got you. Ohio State, Georgia, Texas 3, Notre Dame 4, Indiana 5. They've got Indiana higher than most people. I know they just won the championship, but a lot of people have Indiana lower. Oregon at 6, Miami 7, A&M, Ole Miss 9, LSU 10, and the Gators did make their top 25. So
and neither did Florida State.
The Gators did. Florida State did not. If they had done a top 75, I don't think Florida State would have made it, Bruce.
Why, Florida's not in here, are they?
No, they are number 25. Florida's.
Oh, that's them. Okay,
that's
good.
Them.
Put a little target on their back. Good. Let's see how many wins they get this year.
Yeah. Well, Summerall said that if they don't make a bowl game, he's going to be like at the top of the stadium, ready to jump. So that's what their coach said. We'll see.
They'll make a bowl game. They should win 7 games, but I don't think they're going to any place.
They won 4 games last year, but I know that was with Billy. That was the Billy Napier era.
Texas is in there ahead of them from the SEC, right? A&M is in there ahead of them. LSU is in there ahead of them.
Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama. It's like half SEC in there.
Missouri. So where are the Gators going?
South Carolina's in there. Yeah, the Gators are – so somehow the Gators are like 10th in the SEC, but they made the top 25. It's a lot of SEC in there.
Oh, whatever. Who cares?
Oh, yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody making Locked On Canes your first listen. We'll talk to everyone next time. Huge thank you to the Truth Teller. Huge thank you to you guys. Make sure to hit the Everydayer Club.
Call me.
Call my man, Bruce. We'll talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the #1 Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.